Okay. So the session is being recorded. I'll invite Mr. Carson to take over, but before then, I'll invite two members to just give us to just say hi to all of us. Two members, you can just unmute, tell us how your Sunday is, how your weekend is, before we get started.
Doreen?
Hello, Esther.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm Esther. I work in Kirinyaga. Currently, I'm in Muranga today. My Saturday is good, though it's cold. But the session is very informative. The sessions have been very informative. And I'm looking forward to run more each and every day. We have been having quite a wonderful presenter and the others who have been there. Thank you so much to the organizers of these sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. So before you maybe uh, mute, I would want to learn. Have you ever interacted with these tools, or have you ever done anything that relates with data collection?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've used questionnaires,
Okay.
uh, which were semi-structured,
Okay.
and I would want to learn even more
Mm-hmm.
on on the other types of the data collection tools and even how to analyze.
Okay.
Because I'm currently working on a project. I'm a master's student in Karatina University.
Okay. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So
Yes,
so from what you have learned through the questionnaires, I bet you'll have a lot to say on some of the things that we'll be tackling today. And maybe you'll also share with us how you derive your questions or how you come up with the queries that you're going to put on the questionnaires and such things, so that
yes,
moving from the traditional way of collecting data to now the modern way of collecting data, some things
yes,
don't change really. So yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I bet we'll also get to learn so much from you.
Thank you.
Okay, so one more person, maybe a gentleman, to tell us how his Sunday is, where he's tuned in from, and what you have, if you've ever been in a situation where you're dealing with data, collecting data, analyzing data, just a gentleman. Or should we pick randomly? A gentleman from the audience. I'd wish to know where you're hearing us from, and your experience with data collection. We would like to know how your Sunday has been, how your weekend has been also. Is Ali Ahmed able to hear us? Ali Ahmed? Let's see, who else is here? I'll invite Cosma. Cosma, I bet you're from Uganda. You can just unmute and let us know how you've been and how your Sunday has been, and if you've ever interacted with tools of data collection, analysis, and evaluation. Cosma? Okay, in the interest of time, I'll allow the trainer to represent the gentleman in the platform. So, Mr. Carson, you can take over and lead us through.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana, for this insightful planning and also the training that we've been having. My name is Samuel Carson, and I think I'll go straight to the presentation. And before that, maybe let me do a little introduction to myself. As Diana said, I'm a professional research member of Corporate Institute of Strategic Research. And then I have a bachelor's degree in sociology and gender development studies from Kenyatta University. That's from Kenya. Then I have training certificates in research ethics and evaluation, public health research ethics, good clinical practices, both from the University of Hong Kong in China. Then I've worked with a number of organizations. Just to name a few, I've worked with KEMRI, that's Kenya Medical Research Institute, as a research assistant. I've also worked with the African Population Health and Research Center, also as a research assistant, amongst many other organizations. And mostly I've interacted with both qualitative and quantitative data in the field, data collection, and a little bit of data analysis. So today being our second session of electronic data collection, we had our last session a few days ago on introduction to data collection. So today we are here to look at electronic devices that help researchers to collect data. And feel free to make contributions, because we are here to learn and relearn, and to remind ourselves, those who've been in the field, those who haven't been in the field, we're here to help ourselves as researchers. So I think, Doreen, you can go directly to the slides for the presentation. Right. So, Tim, when we say that we are looking at electronic devices that help researchers to collect data, these are mobile applications that help researchers to collect data in the field, as compared to the traditional method of the paperwork. So we are shifting from paperwork to the electronic. And I know a number of you have interacted with these tools. So it's just a reminder, and it's just reminding ourselves and adding what we had not gained before. So stay tuned, our friends from Africa, from the rest part of the world. Let's contribute in this, and let's all learn as a team. So team electronic collection softwares, these are computerized systems of data collection and storage of both qualitative and quantitative data. And the main aim of using the electronic or the mobile enabled applications, one is to eliminate the use of paper surveys, allow data to be quickly exported for analysis, presentation, and reporting. And this also ensures that data collection softwares, they are there to enable a swift collection of data in the field. Team, these methods of electronic data collection, they were first introduced in the 1980s with an aim of addressing shortcomings that arose or that had been seen in the paper-based forms. And some of these challenges that were being addressed, we had increased errors through transcriptions. Then there was late detection of inaccuracies, discrepancies in the data collected. So that's why a number of researchers saw it fit to ensure that we have electronic data collection devices to help solve those challenges. Team, Microsoft Access and Microsoft SQL, these are softwares that were first used and they were first adopted. And despite the advancement in the electronic data collection, the researchers and research assistants who worked in remote areas suffered from the burden of paperwork and paper-based data. And this was the reason that electronic data collection softwares became of no use in areas that had no internet connectivity. So again, team, there came a gap and there came a need to ensure that there are devices that can enable researchers to collect data, whether they are connected or not connected. Next slide. So it is out of this gap that we have data collection devices that can collect data offline, because you'll realize that we do not have internet connectivity in each and every area in this world. But there is need to collect data always. So that's why it was important for we to have data collection devices that could enable researchers and people who worked in various projects to be able to collect data offline and send the data when they get to a place where now they can access the internet. Team, the advantages of using data collection devices that can gather offline, that can enable researchers to collect data offline. It enables researchers to work in places with unreliable internet and store data in mobile devices. And then they can later upload or synchronize the data once an internet connection is available. So as a team, we looked at best practices for collecting data offline. As a researcher or a research assistant or anyone working with data or anyone working with the data that has been collected offline, there are best practices that have to be put in consideration just to ensure that we do not lose the data that has been collected. First of all, team, as a data collector or as an enumerator or as a researcher, ensure that every data has been synchronized whenever you get to an internet connectivity from the field. It is also important not to clear up data, update data, reinstall the app before submitting data. Tim, why do you think it is important not to update, reinstall, or clear the app before submitting data? Why do you think it is important as a best practice? Tim, the reason why we are advised not to install a new application before submitting data, we may end up losing every data that has been collected. Therefore, it is important to submit any data before updating the application. And when you're working with a team, the IT team will always advise if there is need to update or to get a new tool or a new version of the application. And the updating could be maybe a new tool has been included, or some changes have been made. That's why we update, but that has only to happen after the data has been sent to the server. Then team, do not use the mobile notifications that pop up immediately and requires you to make an immediate action. Remember, there are some applications that always bring up prompts to update them. So before we update any application, it has to be an instruction from the IT team. And when you are collecting data yourself, there must be need for you to update that application, but not from the mobile prompts. Team, are we together on that?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The next slide, please. Team, I would like us to look at data collection in this broad perspective. As we are going to look at data collection devices that will help us collect data whether we are connected to the internet or not. It is crucial to understand the type of data that we are collecting from the field, so as to help us align ourselves with the best data collection device that will help us achieve the objective. Remember, we have cross-sectional data and case management or longitudinal data. Team, has anyone amongst us interacted with any of these two? Either cross-sectional data or longitudinal data in research. Team, it's important to understand that projects and research differ in the time frame. So data that is going to be collected, it will determine either we are collecting cross-sectional data or longitudinal data. data that is captured once, that's called cross-sectional. But data that requires measurements a multiple across time, the data is called longitudinal. So longitudinal projects require a data collection device that supports case management. Case management here is whereby we are collecting data more than once from the same subject. So it is important that we consider collecting the biodata of the subject, maybe of the patient, so that you can make a follow-up later on the same patient. So when we are making a follow-up on the same person or on the same subject, it is called case management. But when we are only collecting data once from a subject, it is called cross-sectional. Team, are we together on that? Thank you. And team, the choice of electronic data collection, you must consider a few things. One, the range of utility. Will the device help you collect both cross-sectional or longitudinal data in the study? The appropriateness of the tool also is important, and the suitability for the tool to work offline. Whether the researcher is able to access the internet or not, it's important to consider that before choosing an electronic device that will help us collect data. Thank you so much. Next slide. Thank you. So we are moving to Jotform. And there's a small survey that was carried out a few days when we are asked to give the topics that we would like to be discussed. I know most of you filled that form. That was a form, it was a Jotform. So this app allows users to collect various types of data, such as voice recording, barcodes, geolocations, that the locations, and electronic signatures. And then this mobile helps researchers to collect data either offline or online. This tool also, it is free when you are doing a demonstration. So you can practice on it. But when you are dealing with the data that is going to require a lot of space, then it's sometimes charged, but a little amount. But for starters, when we are doing a demonstration, it's always free for basic accounts. That's a Jotform. Next one, please.
Maybe just to find out from participants and members if they've ever some of you may have interacted with Jotform in our WhatsApp platform, but for those who maybe have used it to collect data, if there's anyone who has done that, maybe we could hear from you. I'm made to believe that Jotform only allows if you have up to 100 respondents, that one will allow for free collection of data. So let me hear, is there anyone here in the group who has interacted with Jotform before? Before we move to the next one, so we're going to move to the next one very quickly. Yes, Katrina, you can also give us your contribution.
Yeah, we interacted with the Jotform the other day. You're asking us to just give a topic that would like to be discussed in the platform.
Okay.
And I realized that that's a form of data collection device that can help researchers collect data.
Yes.
And it also depends whether you're collecting complex data or just simple data.
Okay. So yeah, so members, you are free to raise your hand from time to time to chime in or to give an additional input. Remember, these are Sunday insights. They're not left for the trainer to speak all through. So we'll move to the next tool.
Team, next you have the Teamscope. Teamscope is an electronic data collection tool that it's help to collect sensitive data and clinical data in research. Then here data is stored and encrypted on mobile devices, whereby it requires the username and password to log in, and to create a 4-digit passcode to unlock the app. Then it supports longitudinal data. It has a case management feature. So team, this application, it can help researchers, those who are collecting data that will require a follow-up. This tool is best for them. And this tool is also supported in or it can also be used in smartphones, both Android, iPads, and iPhones. And just to make a clarity that every tool that we are going to look at today, these tools can be supported or can be used with an Android phone. So it is of a great advantage for researchers to make use of these tools because they can be supported and they're easy to use when we're using our mobile phones. And then it has a free 7 days trial. So team, you can also make use of this. And when you are going to the practical part, it's easier just to follow the steps. You open, you log in, the 4-digit code, the 4-digit passcode, it unlocks, and then you're well to go. Next one, please. Or has anyone among us interacted with the Teamscope? Yes.
I was wondering whether sometimes when they want to send us an online bank statement, they send you
Yes.
an email message, then you are given a code that you're supposed to fill, which is the last 4 digits of your account number. And then they say it is encrypted.
Yes.
Could this be a Teamscope?
Yes.
Something.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. What the bank have their own softwares when it comes to sending documents from the bank to the client. So the one that the bank are using, it's not a Okay, I'm not sure if it is or not, because I've not worked in the banking sector. But they sent you an email and then they sent you a form. Then that form is encrypted with a password. So you cannot open unless you put the passcode for you to open the form. Is it?
Yes.
Good. But when we come to the Teamscope, this one is a data collection device that we input in the data, but before using the device, we have to open. So the reason why the data has been encrypted is for security purposes, to ensure that no unauthorized person can access the data that is in the device. That's where the part of encryption comes in, for security purposes. I'm seeing another hand on.
Yeah, okay. Where I work, we always do the exam. Is it assessment test every month? And before you do an assessment, there's an app that we are sent. Then you need to fill in your name, the username, then the password or passcode for it to accept, so that you can start the assessment. Two, whenever we have a meeting, sometimes you need to log in into there is an app that we are sent to log in your information. Then from there, you can join a meeting or a session. So is it the same as the Teamscope?
Right. The reason why you ask to log in the information, I think they want to get the biodata and some crucial information concerning those who are doing that particular exam. It could be part of the Teamscope, because there are a number of data collection devices that are in the form of surveys, that various institutions use them and various organizations use and adopt them. Thank you. Next slide, please. Team, we have the Kobo Toolbox. Kobo Toolbox was developed by the Harvard Humanitarian Initiative. Then widely used for data entry in the humanitarian organizations like the International Rescue Committee, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, and Save the Children organization. It supports offline data entry on both Android phones and tablets. Then to visualize, analyze, share, download, the researchers may use Kobo Toolbox web application. This tool is very easy to use, and it can be used to collect data offline, whether you are in a remote area where there's internet or not. This tool is vital and can help us and researchers to collect data. And an advantage here is that it can be used to visualize and analyze the data that has been collected. The same as the Jotform. After we had given our feedback, it was easier to visualize the results of what had been given as the feedback, and to help make an informed decision out of that. Has anyone interacted with the Kobo Toolbox in the field? as a data collection device? I'm seeing a hand. Namehe.
Yes, I use this at my workplace on almost a daily, weekly, monthly, annually, quarterly. It is just part of our project. So teams use it to collect the data and we analyze the data using this very Kobo tool. Thank you. It is easy,
Thank,
it is nice, just enjoyable.
thank you. So you cannot confirm that the data can be used to analyze, to visualize data, and that it can also be used to collect data offline and then upload the data later on when you are in an area that has internet connectivity. Is it true, Namehe?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I saw another hand.
Firstborn Prince, are you still raising your hand or you're done? And then we have Beatrice. Beatrice, you can unmute. Then Firstborn Princess, you can either lower your hand or you.
Then,
Yes.
sorry,
Yeah,
then I had raised up the earlier on earlier whatever the question that was asked earlier.
Okay. So we'll allow Beatrice to share her input.
I just wanted to share that I've used Kobo Toolbox to collect data in the field. We use it. We used it recently when we had some donor support for the floods that happened, and for the post distribution monitoring. That's where we use the tool.
So maybe you can also, for Namehe and Beatrice, you can also tell us if you used there are two accounts that can be created with the Kobo. So you can also clarify on that and let us know which one you were using. If you are in a position to have in have knowledge of which account you are using.
Sorry, I didn't get your question right.
I'm saying in when it comes to Kobo, we have two versions. There's the one that is open for everyone, and then there's the other one that is paid for, so that it gives you more features, including creating tables and all that. So, were you using the free option, or were you using the other option to collect data?
I used the free option, and also the beauty with Kobo Toolbox is that you can download there is a way you can download the data in that you if you want to analyze it using SPSS. So if you want to analyze using Kobo Toolbox, you can still do that. But if you want to analyze using SPSS, it makes it very easy. So by the time what the information that you have downloaded, you put it using SPSS, it becomes really easy. So I find Kobo Toolbox as a very nice software.
Thank you. And maybe I also give Namehe an opportunity to give us input on that.
Yes, then I can't get you very clearly. I'm traveling, but for us, we don't use the free one, but though it does really a lot, right from visualization, analysis. If you want to download, it just gives you everything you really wish to have to draw even conclusions from your data. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your input. I'm made to believe that Kobo is a very common tool that is used by many organizations, including many international organizations. So that's a tool to interact with or watch out for. Yes, firstborn princess. Beatrice, do you have something to add? The hands that have been raised so that we can also allow the trainer to proceed. Okay, Mr. Samuel, you can continue.
Thank you so much, Tim. I'm again invited to look at the Redcap. Redcap as a data collection device. It was created in 2004 in Vanderbilt University. Then the tool supports case management, data collection, that is longitudinal data. And then it's available on smartphones and tablets, and helps researchers, enumerators, and research assistants to collect data in places where there is no internet, and later on upload the data when they get internet connectivity. Remember, there are tools that will require you to collect data, and when you are sending that data, they pick the GPS of that particular location. So that is when you are connected to the internet. But when you collect data, and maybe that data will not be required to be sent at that particular time, you can synchronize that data later on. But ensure you synchronize data the moment you are connected to the internet, so that we avoid losing data that has been connected. Has any one of us used Redcap before? Right, Redcap is easy to use. I've used it. It's easy to use, easy to navigate. But again, with Redcap, as we saw in our introduction, it is not advisable to update the Redcap application without the instruction from the IT team. We only update or refresh the Redcap application after getting instruction, or after ourselves we have ascertained that we need to update that tool. But ensure before you update the tool or you refresh the tool, ensure data has been sent to the server. That's the first important thing. Ensure data has been sent to the server before we update or before we download or refresh the tool, such as Redcap. Team, we have Commcare. This is an electronic data collection, which is said to be world-class data collection platform that was developed by MAGPI. These are institutions that deals with the softwares. Then the tool is widely adopted by international organizations such as Partners in Health, International Rescue Committee, and USAID. Then the platform supports cross-sectional and longitudinal data. And it's geared towards humanitarian and medical data gathering. So team, as we said before, we looked at tools that can help us collect data whether we are connected to the internet or not. And also tools that can help us collect cross-sectional and longitudinal data. Team, has anyone amongst us interacted with Commcare as a tool for data collection? I'm seeing a hand.
Yes, Ms. Chepkoech.
Yeah, I've used it at a personal level, but not for the organization. Reason being, it's the one I used is a community plan. If you want more features, it has to be paid, and if you pay for it, you'll get now more features, even to do analysis and all that. But if it is a community plan, there is little that you are able to do using Commcare. In terms of how to, like, the way you are imputing data or putting the form, it's the same as the Kobo Toolbox. When you are putting the form that you'll use to collect data, it is the same. So I think the major difference that I saw is that with community plan, there is little that you're able to do.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for that contribution. The next slide. Team, we have a tool by the name MAGPI. This is equally an electronic data collection device that allows researchers to create mobile forms both on and offline within minutes. Used in health, agriculture, environment, and industry sectors, where rapid and low-cost conduction of mobile surveys. So it's used by a range of organizations and sectors. Then it has a very important section whereby you can take voice response in data collection. You're able to record using the MAGPI as a data collection device. Then it can also collect data offline and allow researchers to upload data when they get to an internet connectivity. We have Open Data Kit, that's the ODK. This is equally a data collection tool that enables researchers to collect data both offline when they are not connected to the internet, and then send the data or synchronize the data later on. And then the Open Data Kit team allows multiple types of data, such as pictures, data that involves taking of pictures. Open Data Kit can help us do that. And then more specifically, the Open Data Kit community offers two suites as we saw in the Commcare. Then the ODK, we have the normal ODK, which helps us just collect and visualize basic data. And then ODKX software, it offers tools for more complex softwares such as Java, and it helps in the customization of data collected. Then it has a longitudinal data entry feature. And that feature helps researchers to collect data and make follow-ups, meaning it supports case management. So team, these are tools that we can also use it to collect data, and it can be used to collect data offline and then later on synchronize data when you are connected to the internet. It's easier to use. It has two features. You have the ODK and then the ODKX. When you are dealing with complex data, then you apply the ODKX, but when you're dealing with the simple data, then we use the ODK, the normal ODK. Team, again, has anyone come across the ODK data collection device? Right, thank you. We may look at the last one. Okay. Team, we have Survey CTO. Survey CTO is a reliable data collection device. It's used for professionals and researchers. The Survey CTO is an app that expanded on the ODK software to increase its scale, utility, and power. The researcher or professional is able to monitor all incoming data using review and correction workflow, automated quality checks, and data classification systems. Team, we are able to use the Survey CTO as professionals or researchers to collect data, visualize data, monitor the incoming data, view correction outflows, monitor automated quality checks, just to ensure that we collect reliable and credible data. Team, the Survey CTO as a tool for data collection has been used in over 165 countries. So this is a tool that has been widely used by many countries, many researchers, many professionals, and can also help in monitoring and visualization of the data that has been collected. I have used Survey CTO as a tool for data collection. It's easier to use. It's not complicated. But again, before getting a new version of the Survey CTO, it has to come from the IT team. Or you have to be sure that you are getting a new version because of changes that may have been made to enhance the updates. Team, has anyone come across Survey CTO as a tool for data collection? Survey CTO.
Okay, let me contribute on something. Sometimes back there was a certain, is it a survey or what? I was being sent on my phone. It tells me maybe to differentiate between those organizations that do parcels. We have Sendi, we have Fargo, we have G4S. Is it the same? Is it the same tool that is used there? Like you are told to fill in, then you send them the information or the answers. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, that's it's a survey, but it was a simple survey, not a complicated survey, is it?
I'm not so sure because some questions were very tough, basing on my own understanding.
Right. You'll find that there are surveys that require complex features when it comes to data collection devices, and there are some surveys that will require simple data collection devices, because when you look at Commcare, it has two features. We have the complex feature and the one that it's basic. So when it comes to the mobile surveys, we may end up using the simple features just to get the information from our respondents that may not maybe need a follow-up. In most cases, it's always cross-sectional, once at a time. Team, unless there's another contribution over the same.
So I'd also like to make a contribution on the question that Felista has asked. When it comes to filling in forms online or either online or offline, having been one who has interacted with several uh, data collection tools, some of them even being at the simple Google Forms that we use for the attendance, you'd find that it's always indicated in those forms which platform is being used. You'd find something like powered by something, say an organization, meaning maybe it's a customized built form for that organization. So you can keep an eye out for such so that you are able to differentiate different data collection tools. Even when you're, say, applying for an event and you interact with Eventbrite platform, it will definitely indicate. Maybe I'll allow someone to mute. So most of these platforms indicate the what uh, feature or what app is being used to collect data. So if even if it's something that comes on your phone or something that you interact with online, you'll definitely find somewhere that has been written, say Eventbrite, Google Form, Jotform. They always indicate on the platform or Kobo, so that if you'd wish to use that in maybe a different setup, you can easily go and check and find out if it's something that you can also incorporate in your daily activities. So they may not be necessarily these ones, because these ones are just built for, say, researchers and all that, but there are also other data collecting tools, including even the websites that normally collect your data for newsletters. So just keep an eye out on that to know which particular platform you're using. Some may be collecting your information and sending them to data brokerage, and maybe sending them to data brokerage. So it's very important as a researcher or someone who has attended such a class to know that not all platforms are safe, and just keep an eye out on that. So because we're coming to the end of the session, because it's supposed to last for 1.5 hours, I will invite members to also contribute on the tools that they have interacted with and feel like maybe it has not been mentioned in this session today, because I'm sure we have interacted with so many of them. So I'd like to open the floor for members to interact and share their experience with data collection. So, Mr. Samuel, you can take over.
Okay, thank you, Diana. And I request that you give me 5 minutes, please. We look at the best practices for data collection, if you may.
Okay, you can proceed.
Thank you. Team, it's vital for us to look at data collection best practices. First, before we collect data, we have to clearly define our research objective. A clearly defined research objective and the questions that guide the data collection. It is out of the clarity of the objective that the data will align with the research goals and provide relevant insights. Two, team, we need to plan ahead before we go to the field. And developing a detailed data collection plan that includes timeline, resources needed, and the specific procedures to be followed in the field before the actual data collection day. Team, are we together on that? Thank you. We need to use the right methodology. As researchers, as professionals, we need to use the right methodology that will be appropriate and that will help us achieve the objective for our data collection. Next, team, we need to consider having a pilot study before the actual data collection. Let me ask this question, team. Has anyone done pilot study or test? Or maybe what is the importance of for us doing a pilot test or a pilot study before the actual data collection day or time? What is the importance of that? Why is it advisable that we need to carry out a pilot test before the actual data collection day or time?
Okay, let me try. I don't know if I'll get it or not.
Yes.
Okay, like where I work, sometimes when we want to sell a certain product, they first put it on pilot test before now officializing it that it's now on the sale fully. So personally, I believe pilot enables us or enables the team or the researchers maybe to familiarize with the environment and the information that they are going to get on the ground. That is my personal observation. I don't know if it's true or not.
Thank you so much. That's a great response. Anyone else?
I can also give a contribution.
Thank you. And is it important in that case?
Sorry?
Also answer the question, is pilot important?
Yeah, pilot testing is very important. First, you will be able to understand whether the enumerators have understood the questions. And if there are questions that are ambiguous, you will be able to know during pilot testing so that you can be able either to maybe redo the question. Maybe on the ground when you ask the question, it's like people are not even getting clarity of what you really want to know. So pilot testing allows you now even to maybe rephrase the question or something like that.
Perfect. All the answers are correct. As you've said that the main aim of pilot is for refinement and improvement of the tool before data collection. This also helps us to make changes because it gives us a clear picture of what we are yet to meet during the actual data collection. Therefore, it is imperative, important, vital, and crucial for any researcher to do a pilot test before the actual data collection. Then, team, it is important to train your data research assistants. They have to be trained on what they are going to do in the field. They must be trained on the best practices. They must be trained on the ethical considerations so that they align themselves with the ethics requirements while they're in the field. Team, it is important that we maintain consistency. There is need to follow a standardized procedure throughout the data collection process. This ensures consistency across data collectors and time. When there's a sequence of which questions should be asked to the respondents, and that consistency has to cut across all the respondents for it to ensure that we maintain consistency and get credible, reliable data. Finally, team, we need to minimize bias. We need to identify potential sources of bias in the data collection and take steps to minimize their impact. We have to ensure that the bias are not going to impact negatively on the data that we are going to collect, because this is going to interfere with the objective and the quality of the data that we are yet to collect. When we minimize bias, this ensures that we implement strategies to mitigate issues that may cause biasing in the field. Thank you so much, team, for your time and everything. Contribution, the examples you've given, experiences in the field has been of great value to our today's presentation. Thank you so much. Back to Diana.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for that precise presentation. So if the forum is open to members for about 15 minutes, then we call it a day. So you can just unmute and ask a question, add a comment to the trainer or to the members who are logged in at this moment. I'll start with Ms. Namehe.
Oh, Diana, thank you so much. Our dear presenter, thank you so much. It has really been great. So mine is just an inquiry about cognitoforms. I don't know whether maybe some of us have ever interacted with it. I am inquiring where does it really fall, because according to me, I interacted with it one moment, and it is connected almost to Jotforms. But then it requires a login and sometimes even requests for two-factor authentication for data protection. And then storage of the data still, it can even be visible on the very interface. And then you download and analyze like the way you see even Kobo, where you download and analyze if you want. Thank you.
So has anyone interacted with Cognito? You've said Cognito forms.
Yes, Cognito forms.
Okay. And also I have a question to the trainer. So what happens if you have, how do you mitigate such scenarios where you have already shared out a digital tool for data collection, then you find out that it's not actually working and you're working with time. So how do you uh, kind of, is it part of doing the pilot as you've called it, or how do you go about that, considering that when it comes to digital tools, there could be times when you send out forms and only to realize later on that they're not actually working?
Right. Thank you so much. To deal with such, as we've just said, there is always imperative and important to have a test of the tools that we are going to use before we actually start utilizing them. And that's why when we are doing pilot, it helps us identify discrepancies and helps us identify, get new version of the tool, because these versions are always updated. So maybe we could be using an old version, yet we need to use an updated version. So it is also good to look at the version of the tool during piloting before we embark on the actual data collection, so that we avoid such. And also the version of the tool is very important. The updated version, it's always very vital to look at it, because it has features that have been revamped, and they can easily help us navigate through the tool.
Thank you so much for that. Any member who has interacted with what Namehe had indicated, or any other person with a question, you're free. The platform is free for question and concerns.
Then I have a question to you.
Yes.
Now that you just elaborated that you passed across almost all these data collection, more so surveys and whatever the forms, the ones that maybe you are sending us during certification, that you send your, is it the educational testimonials, the passport, you scan them, then you send, what is the name given to that form of data collection, whatever that thing, the whatever that you are telling us, what do we call it in terms of data collection devices?
Thank you for that question. I'll also allow the trainer to to answer that, considering that I'm also a student in data collection. So the thing about data collection that I'd say I'd be, let me just mute Samsung. It goes with what your, or the objective of your data collection. So it depends when it comes to what you are using for payments and document upload. That you'd find is it's something that was, we customized it. You get an IT person to, first of all, you buy the product and then you get an IT person to work on it to suit what you actually want it to do, because that will also involve, you realize that even when you're collecting documents, you'll need a lot of space to have those CVs collected. So that is customized system. You buy a product, a data collection product, and then you customize it to suit your needs. But that is just a registration process. So I'll also invite Samuel to comment on that.
Okay, thank you, Diana, for that. See, various organizations have various platforms that they use to collect data from their employees, or they use to do surveys. As you've just said, it depends with what exactly do we want to do. We want to collect we want to collect information from our respondents. Then what type of data are we collecting? Maybe we need their CVs, as you've said. And you see, there are tools that do not support the PDF version of the document. So they have to be customized to allow them help support such documents. So it depends with the organization.
Okay. Any other question? Felista, that was a registration process, and a part of registration process is collecting data for the people you are registering. Any other question?
Oh, okay. Okay, I've just remembered something. When we were doing the election, that is in the year 2022, I was amongst the IBC officials, and I remember we were having a certain, is it a tablet or what do we call it? We were scanning people so that they can vote like electronically. Can we call it as a way of a data, whatever, collection? What is that exactly?
Yes, Samuel can answer that. While he's preparing to answer. Okay. Proceed.
Yes, hello. All right. During the survey, we in the 2019 we went for household listing, and then we came back for the actual data collection. Is it? And you realize that the moment we were doing the household listing, we were doing that. Then thereafter, before submitting that data, we could take the GPS. Is it true of that particular location? So when we were coming back for the actual data collection day, we were going to the houses that had been sampled before. And you realize that it is the GPS that helped us to locate those particular households and the names of the household heads. So it was a follow-up of what we had done before. So you realize that it was not cross-sectional, but a longitudinal, whereby we had to make we had to come back to the respondents that we had interviewed before. So that could be, unless I confirm the exact tool that we are using, but it should have been among the one that we have just discussed, the one that supports both cross-sectional and longitudinal data. And the team, there's something I was to add on, that there are tools that will enable you, will be required for you to collect the GPS of that particular location. And that happens when you are coming for a second time in the data collection. Because when we are doing quality checks and you find that the first GPS differs with the second GPS, and yet you are collecting data on the same respondent, it causes some discrepancies. So maybe to answer your question, I guess it was one of the tools that we have discussed here. Unless I confirm the exact name, then I respond to you before the end of the session.
Okay, thank you. We have 3 minutes left before the session ends. Any other person with a question or a contribution? Okay, so this marks the end of today's session. We are still going to have other tools as you continue to share your feedback of the tools that you'd wish to learn. But now this gives you an eye opener to and have, there are other tools that are out there, and once you just have a name, it's good to also go and just try to interact with it and try to see, have the free version downloaded, because there are so many tools out there that if you decide to go through all of them, we might not even end in a year. So feel free to always join this session so that you can have and be exposed to other tools that are out there. If you have other tools that you'd wish us to cover, continue sending your feedback so that we can also tackle that. Okay, so thank you so much for joining today's session. Today was a Sunday, but you made it for today. So this is part of the monitoring and evaluation class. We're still going to have more and more of these tools until the M&D class ends. So this comes back to back. So this will only happen on Sunday, but we will still have the M&D class continue as usual to cover the other topics that are in M&D. So I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a very prosperous week ahead, and let's meet on Friday at 5:30 p.m. Thank you so much, members. There's the attendance. You feel free to sign it, but this is.
Allow me also clap for you and CBSM for sponsoring the training.
Yes, so as usual, the trainings are organized by Community Breakthrough Support Mission, and they are enabled for people to join free, and they are managed by Basket One Consulting. So if you got an email notifying you to join the session, that is Basket One managing the session. So someone is asking for the attendance to be resent. Always ensure whenever you're attending these sessions that you have your uh, the attendance signed, because some of you miss out on certificates for such small, simple things. So part of data collection is the attendance register that enables us to verify that this person actually attended the session. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a great week ahead.
So Diana, before you go, I have a question.